When we talk about different sexualities, what is the first thing that comes to mind? Many may point to how different people dress or how different people act as signs of their sexual orientation. But is it the case? In gender studies, there are different models that are used to describe human gender and sexuality. Take the gender-bread person model, for example. The model clearly separates gender expression and sexual orientations as different, unrelated concepts. However, many stereotypes persist in society, such as how lesbians should be tomboys and gays should be feminine. So let's dive into the different movies and interviews from people in the LGBTQ community and see if there's a correlation between the two.
The relationship between gender expression and sexual orientation is complex. In the past, films have shown a stereotypical vision of this relationship through LGBT characters and representation. However, modern-day films have shown better representation of this complex relationship. Gender expression and sexual orientation are fluid, and this is shown in the recent film Call Me By Your Name. The main characters evolve and grow into their sexuality and gender expression. The film does not delve deep into LGBT issues, but it provides an important framework and example to show the complex and intricate relationship between gender expression and sexual orientation. One of the main characters, Hugh, is shown to be extremely fluid in his gender expression and sexual orientation, and this highlights the complex nature of the relationship.
Now we will analyze a movie about LGBT. The first is Out in the Dark, which aired in 2013. This is a film about a forbidden love that crosses political, ideological, and geographic boundaries. It premiered at Toronto International Film Festival in September 2012. The film focused on the rejection of homosexuality by family and country, and the idea behind it is what is the relationship between gender or nationality and love, and what is the conflict.
And the second movie that we want to talk about is The Beautiful Thing, produced in 1996. This is a British gay film. The story recounts the first love between two ordinary boys, focusing on the pureness love of two boys. For the moral and ideas behind the story, at that time, there was still an attitude towards traditional values and an attack on gay rights. Therefore, the film made many queer people to feel the same at that time and also attract to public attention to a homosexual. The third movie that I want to talk about is The Brokeback Mountain, produced in 2005. It is based on a story produced by Annie Proulx. It is a love story about two Western cowboys who love one another but can only be expressed in secret. And for the moral and ideas behind the story, this movie is about more than just sexual desire. The story relieves the pain of hidden and split identities. These characters are incarnating the basic human needs of wholeness, fulfillment, and a true love who accept who they really are. The story also brings about how surrounding people perceive homosexual relationships, showing their hatred, fear, and mainly lack of understanding.
What's your sexual orientation?
Bisexual.
I'm homo.
So do you think that presumption or speculation constitute as a discrimination, or do you feel uncomfortable with it?
I don't consider it as discrimination, but I would feel a little bit uncomfortable when people ask me about my sexual orientation because I'm not well prepared for coming out now.
I don't think it is discrimination to infer a person's sexual orientation, and it is more disrespectful to others because sexual orientation is a personal matter.
What is your dressing style?
I prefer to sporty or casual look.
Casual style?
Do you think your dressing style or the way you behave affects or have any relationship with your sexual orientation?
I don't think so. My dressing style and the way I behave just follows my own taste. It has nothing to do with my sexual orientation.
Absolutely not, because if there is a correlation, others would not think I'm straight.
Will you act like a female or male as traditionally defined you if you felt an intense loss of belonging?
I don't think there are differences between actions of male and female when they experience such conditions. They all get scared and try to fight back or ask for help.
I would not, because whether gender or sexualities are male or female, I tend to respect my gender and sexuality, and I prefer to do what makes me happy.
Okay, the last question. Do you feel safe for coming out in mainland of China? Why or why not?
No, I don't. In the present, sex marriage is still illegal in the mainland of China. There are many people do not accept the LGBTQ group, especially people who are from the last era. Our parents, for example, they still think being homosexual or bisexual is a disease that could be cured. I don't think coming out is safe because people experience discrimination and they are likely to be bullied if their skills could lead to mental illness.
Maybe it's not because the elder and the older generation may have discrimination on this or have misleading understanding of homosexuality.
Thank you very much.
From the interview, we can see that both interviewers don't think presumption constitutes discrimination. However, it can still make people feel uncomfortable because they believe it is a private and personal matter. Even if there is an intense loss of belonging, none of them will compromise but maintain a positive attitude towards the adversity. However, it is still unsafe for them to come out because of the prohibition of homosexual marriage in mainland China. The interview shows that our interviewers with different sexual orientation share the same dressing style and indicate no direct relation between sexual orientation and gender expression.
To conclude, gender expression and sexual orientation are not necessarily related, but are rather distinct and independent concepts. In the aforementioned films, namely Call Me By Your Name, Out in the Dark and Brokenback Mountain, the queer characters shared the same sexual orientation, but behaved quite differently. For example, in the Brokenback Mountain, the two gay characters are very masculine, while in Call Me By Your Name, more femininity can be seen on Elio, another gay character. The moral is shown clearly in the movies that the two concepts are not necessarily interrelated. While in reality, our two interviewees also stated that as a queer, they do not think that their sexual orientation is affected by their gender expressions. However, this misconception of linkage between the two concepts may be a hindrance for queers to come out. As stated by our dear interviewees, being a queer will very likely face discrimination. They did not mention exactly how the group is discriminated, but this article from ABC News may give us a hint. In this article, it mentioned that gay men are considered to be more feminine and lesbians are more masculine, but this is not true. There are bad dressers among gay men and there are lesbians who dress and act with femininity. However, with this misconception, people may find it embarrassing or difficult to come out, because they do not want to be viewed as carrying the characteristics of their opposite sex. This worry happens especially in Asian societies, where gender roles are taken very seriously. And once a person acts not in accordance to his or her assigned gender, they face discrimination. In short, the concept that gender expression and sexual orientation are independent should be spread to the public to create a safer and fairer environment for queer. And it is our group's sincerest wish that this video may make some contributions. This is the end of our video. Thank you for your time.